The ocean was calm that morning, unnervingly calm. A pale mist rolled low over the water, blurring the horizon into nothingness. The wind barely moved. The waves whispered instead of breaking. And through that white silence, a dark silhouette drifted alone. A ship with no name being called, no voices above deck. Only the groan of timber and the endless sigh of the Atlantic. This was the Mary Celeste, a ship that should not have been there. She was sighted off the Azores, her sails partly raised, her course aimless. The British brig Dei Gratia had been following her for hours, expecting a signal. But there was none. No captain's wave. No flag of distress. Just the same slow, senseless drift. From a distance she looked alive, the wind filling her sails, her mast steady. But as the crew of the Dei Gratia drew closer, something was wrong. As in terribly wrong. The Mary Celeste was moving with purpose, yet completely abandoned. A small boarding party was sent. They rowed silently across the water, oars slicing through mist. Every sound was amplified in that endless quiet. The creak of wood, the slosh of waves, the pulse in their ears. When they reached her side, no one came to meet them. No voices, no footsteps. Only the faint slap of a loose rope against the hull. The men climbed aboard and stepped into a silence so thick, it felt alive. The deck was empty. The sails were torn, yet carefully tied. The cargo hold untouched. The ship's log open, but the captain's last entry ended days ago. And on the galley table, a half-eaten meal. Everything was in order except the people. The Mary Celeste had been found, but her crew had vanished, as if the sea had simply taken them. Just weeks before her discovery, the Mary Celeste was a proud living vessel. A 282-ton brigantine, American-built and newly refitted, bound for Genoa, Italy. At her helm stood Captain Benjamin Briggs, a man of strong faith and steady reputation. With him, his devoted wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. Alongside them, a small hand-picked crew. 8 souls in all, unaware that theirs would soon become a legend whispered for centuries. Briggs was a careful man, disciplined, pious, and meticulous in record-keeping. In his final letter before departure, he wrote of good spirits. "Our vessel is sound, the crew promising, and I trust in Providence to guide us." There was no sign of worry. No hint of the curse history would later invent for him. Only calm and certainty. They sailed from New York on November 7, 1872. Into clear skies, and unknowingly into oblivion. The first days at sea were calm, routine. The logbook recorded clear weather, steady winds, nothing unusual. Sarah wrote in her journal of quiet nights and starlit skies. The crew was healthy. The cargo, barrels of industrial alcohol, safely stored. Yet somewhere between the coast of Portugal and the Azores, something changed. The entries stopped. The world went silent. By early December, when Dei Gratia found her, the ship had been drifting for 9 days. But what happened in those missing hours, no one could ever say. There was no blood, no struggle. The lifeboat was gone. The ship's single pump was dismantled. 6 months' food and water remained untouched. And the compass smashed. It was as though the crew had fled in sudden panic. From what, no one knew. The men of the Dei Gratia brought her to Gibraltar, where rumors began to spread, whispers of ghosts, mutiny, and curses. The world wanted answers. The ocean gave none. And so the story of the Mary Celeste began, not as a tragedy, but as an eternal question adrift at sea. When the Mary Celeste reached Gibraltar, her mystery spread faster than the tide. The British Vice Admiralty Court launched an inquiry, hoping to find a rational cause for what seemed impossible. Captain Briggs was a respected sailor, his crew trustworthy. The ship was seaworthy, the cargo intact. There were no answers, only questions multiplying like shadows in the fog. Some whispered of mutiny, that the crew, driven by greed or madness, killed the captain and fled. But no blood was found, no signs of struggle, not a single weapon misplaced. Others blamed pirates, but the cargo of industrial alcohol was untouched, the captain's belongings left behind, even his wife's jewelry. Whatever happened, it was not theft. It was something far stranger. In taverns and newspapers, the story grew taller. They said a sea serpent rose from the deep, swallowing the crew whole. Others claimed the ship sailed through a vortex, a hole in reality itself. And some believed the cargo, pure alcohol, had cursed the voyage, releasing noxious fumes that drove everyone to madness. Fear filled every gap where truth could not reach. Yet the most plausible theory may also be the most terrifying. Some believed the cargo itself betrayed them, that alcohol vapors had leaked from the barrels below deck, filling the ship with invisible fire. Perhaps in panic, Briggs ordered the crew to abandon ship temporarily, tethered by rope to their lifeboat, waiting for the fumes to clear. But then a gust, a sudden wave, and the rope snapped. The Mary Celeste sailed on without them. A mistake so simple, it feels almost cruel. The inquiry found no crime. The Mary Celeste was released, a ghost freed to haunt the seas again. She returned to trade for years, changing captains and cargoes, yet her name carried a curse. Sailors refused to board her. Owners lost fortunes. And in 1885, she was deliberately wrecked off the coast of Haiti, her final act, a fraud for insurance. The ship that began as a mystery ended as a myth. The Mary Celeste became legend, her story retold by novelists, scholars, and dreamers. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle turned her ghostly silence into fiction. Others called her cursed, the ship of the damned. Yet through every retelling, one truth remains. The sea gives no answers, only echoes. And in those echoes, humanity hears its oldest fear, the fear of vanishing without reason. Today, the Mary Celeste lies somewhere beneath the sea, her wood long gone, her name immortal. She sails still, in our imagination, a ghost among waves, a reminder that even in our age of certainty, there are places the truth refuses to go. Every time the fog rolls across the Atlantic, sailors swear they see her shape, a phantom hull gliding silently toward nowhere. The story of the Mary Celeste is not one of death, it is one of disappearance, of how easily the sea can erase us, of how mystery endures long after reason runs dry. Perhaps, somewhere beyond the mist, Captain Briggs still watches his ship drift across eternity. The Mary Celeste, not lost, not found, but forever drifting between truth and myth. And as the sea whispers her name, the question still remains. What really happened out there?